Hey guys, welcome to the X Ring. On today's episode, I wanted to do something that I was kind of on the fence about, but this is how I maintain all of my ARs, whether it's a more of a defensive AR or whether it's a competition AR. I do them all the same way. So I'll go over some of the products that I use and how I do it each and every time. Stay tuned. All right, guys, so some of the things that I use is typical for solvent. I use Hops number 9. You can find that at Walmart or anywhere else. That's what I've got in this bottle right here. Basically a little squirt bottle, makes it easy to put the solvent on the patches. I also use, I'm a big fan of the Lucas oils. Basically this is a refill and this is an applicator. Lets me get that oil where I want to get it in. So that's what that is. It's Lucas Extreme Duty Gun Oil. And then I use this, which is made by Bortec. It's Bortec CU+2 copper remover. I use it on my precision rifles as well as my ARs, and that's what I'll have in this right here. It's a little precision applicator, just a little easier to put on the patches as well. And brake parts cleaner. It doesn't matter if you use chlorinated or non-chlorinated. I've never seen a difference with it. Never had it strip a finish off or anything else. But those are the chemicals I'll be using. As far as a rod, I'm going to recommend a good one-piece coated rod or something like this Tipton, something that swivels like this. This is a carbon fiber rod, and you'll see I've got a push jag on the end of it. This is one by Gunslick. Bearings are a little better. It costs a little more. This is a carbon fiber rod as well with a bronze push jag. So something like this will work for you. That's what I'll be using with regards to the rods. As far as the patches, I'll use like Pro Shots or J Dewey's. Make sure you've got the right bore diameter in there, otherwise you're going to get stuck patches or stuck jags. And then I also use something that's very, very handy. It's made by J Dewey, and it's a link, so that way you don't have to separate the upper and the lower. It just gives you a little more workable room to be able to push those jags through. And I'll show you how that works if you haven't seen those. And then another thing you're going to want, you can get these from Sinclair or J Dewey. It's going to be a bore guide. Basically, this is going to go in your upper receiver once you take out the bolt carrier group. Keeps everything lined up and keeps everything in line, so you're not damaging or doing a lot of unnecessary wear on the chamber itself or the chamber face. One of the other things you're going to want is a chamber brush like this. Now this one's got a lot of use on it, but I'll show you how I use it. So stay tuned, we'll get to cleaning here in just a second. Okay guys, so I've already checked to make sure everything was clean and clear, no live rounds or anything else. First thing you want to do is take your rear takedown pin, and what I'm going to do is take that out, but I'm not going to take the front takedown out. I'm going to go ahead and remove the bolt carrier group and the charging handle. And then guys, this little link right here, basically you can put it in here like that, lower it back down, lock this in place. Sorry, I missed that one. Just like that. And so now I've got it where I can just push it straight through. It makes it really easy. And then the only thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my bore guide. I'm going to insert it just like that. And usually these guys will have little O-rings on here. So make sure it's going into the chamber itself. If this dries out, just put a little dab of oil on it. And what you're going to do is just spread that around, and when you put it in, you're going to see how it's, this is a solvent port, so you can add the solvent onto the top side. I don't use that method, but I'll show you how I'll do everything from here. So I just got done shooting this rifle. This is how I'm going to go about cleaning it. For you guys that have been using these for years, this might be old school to you, but like I said, it might be worth it to stay tuned because I do this on all my rifles each and every way. So we'll go from here. All right guys, so the very first thing I do when I clean is I'm going to use solvent on a jag like this, and these are little push jags, and basically you just center it up and you just push it and it pops, and so it'll hold it just like that. And then I'll take solvent, I'll put it on the patch, about that much is plenty good enough or plenty sufficient, and then I'm going to put this in a straight line and just push straight through just like that. Now this is going to help to loosen up the carbon. I'm going to do this a couple times until my patches don't come out black like this anymore. Okay, so I'm just removing that carbon fouling. That's how I do that. One of the other things you might notice is you might get a little bit of solvent on your stock here. Sometimes you can lay a paper towel or something over it. It's what I usually do, and I'll put that on there, but I'll just continue to do this until I get clean patches. Okay guys, so that's pretty quick. This is going to be my 6th patch through here. The only thing I'm using is the Hoppies. And you can see I've added the rag like I normally do, and then I'm just going to push this through here. And each and every time I do that, and you can see it's clean guys, there's nothing on that other than the solvent. Every time I do that, I usually take that rag and then wipe the shaft down. You're going to see all of that. I don't want to keep introducing that fouling into the action. I mean, this is a competition rifle, so I'm being a little more anal about it, but I just make sure it's clean every time I reinsert it. Once I do that, now I'm going to put a wet patch through here of solvent, and then I'm just going to use the proper phosphor bronze brush. Push it through here, only one direction. Okay, never pull that back through because I don't want to pull that back into the action itself. And every time I do this, I'm just going to push forwards for maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 times just to break that up. And it's using that wet solvent to help break up that carbon, okay? If I'm being really particular, what I will do is I will take that bronze brush and I will spray it off with a brake parts cleaner and make sure that it's completely clean in between each one. But I don't always do that. So now that I've done that, that was, 3 pushes or so. Now what you're going to see is, and guys, this isn't contaminants from the bronze brush because like I said, it was perfectly clean. But remember, with that solvent, it was clean a minute ago. Let's see what one push does through here. And you're going to see that it's black again, just like that. Okay. So I still want to continue to break that carbon up. I'm going to continue to do that, and we'll go with the next step. So after the solvent and after the brushes, and I've gotten all the carbon out, then what I'm going to do now is I want to decopper, and I do this each and every time because I don't want that copper fouling to build up in there. And I'll take the Vortec, I'll wet the patch, and then I'm going to push it through here. I'll do this probably twice, okay? And you guys are going to see a tinge of blue. Blue is bad because blue is that copper. I usually push 2 patches through, and then I let it set. And this is when I address the bolt and bolt carrier group, because that way this Vortec is soaking in the barrel and it's breaking up that carbon that's in there. So you can see it's getting a little more blue, so I do have a little bit of copper in here. But I'm done with this now, so what I'm going to do is move over to the bolt carrier group and let this just soak. Okay, while that's soaking, what I've done is I've disassembled my bolt carrier group. I keep some larger patches around, same thing, Pro Shots or J. Dewey's. I'll try not to get too much shadowing in here, but basically I'll just take this and I'll wipe down everything with solvent first, okay? This is a suppressed rifle. I always shoot it suppressed, and so they get really nasty. But all I'm trying to do is just break this up, okay? Now guys, I don't know where you learned how to clean rifles, or if you read it in a magazine, or your agency taught you, or you're taught in the military, but this is the way I do it each and every time, and I don't have issues with any guns. Anyone that shoots with me knows that my rifles run like literally 100% all of the time, and I've been doing it this way for years. So basically I'm just wiping everything down with solvent, just kind of breaking it up. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take brake parts cleaner like this. I do it outside, and then I spray them off to get this residual off. Okay, gang, one key point I want to mention is never ever use your firing pin to push that out, okay? You can get away with it for a long time, but I see a lot of guys do this. That's not recommended. This is a very specific tolerance because this is a floating firing pin, and you end up damaging that or putting a burr on it. Sometimes you can get a misfire. So use something like a tool that you can push with. You're going to push down on the extractor, and then I've got the pin that's captured in my hand here, and I'm going to lift this up. This is a great time to inspect this part right here, okay? You need to inspect it right here in this area for cracks. And then you need to look right in here to make sure that you don't have what we call kitten teeth or jagged edges on the extractor. This is a consumable item. Always make sure that this is your spring is basically, it's in good condition. You're not missing any parts, that it's not broken in half or anything else, but always inspect this part. Very important. I do see these break quite often, and it's usually going to be a hairline fracture or split there. So always inspect your bolt. Specifically in this area right in here, this is where they usually fail or break. Always take a look at your gas rings. Now guys, don't be that guy that's so anal that he's moving around his gas rings, okay? This is triple redundancy. Your rifle will usually work with one gas ring. You don't need to offset them. I mean, if it makes you feel good, then do it. But always inspect it. Make sure you don't have any broken lugs here. And always check your ejector here. You want to press down on that. Use something like a Allen key or something that's about the same width, and just check, make sure you've got good tension, because if your ejector, a lot of times the spring will break inside and you'll have a weak ejector, and so you can have some issues from that. So just take a look over it real quick. Now, a lot of people are really concerned about that carbon right there. Me being one of them, I don't like carbon there. So you can usually take a brush, whether it's like a 223 brush, you can literally just take it and work it like this, or you can have what some people do is they'll basically take their knife and very gently they'll just scrape down like this way. They make a tool for this, by the way, and basically you're just removing that carbon buildup. It's not that necessary, but I'm just anal about it. I'm not hurting the bolt itself, but I'm just removing that caked on, baked on carbon. Okay, now it's all gone. If I were to wipe that off, now you're going to see all that carbon residue. Most of it's gone. You guys can see that. And on this side, it's still a little dirty. But you can see where I'm breaking it off here. All right, guys, just a quick note on my firing pin. If you have one that's very, very neglected and you've built up a lot of carbon on there, remember that's the depth that you need to hit the firing pin. I don't let that build up excessively. I do clean that off. Guys, last part on the cam pin, make sure you check right in here, look for any stress fractures or anything else. Everything's been cleaned, brake parts cleaner, solvent wiped down. It is completely bone dry. I've reassembled it. Before you put this back into your rifle or lubricate it, make sure you always shake it, okay? There's a reason for doing that. It is making sure that your retaining pin for your firing pin is in there, because if it's not, what will happen is this will go in your action, it'll get bent. Usually 9 times out of 10 it's going to get bent if you continue to fire it, and then now your gun is going to be dead in the water. So always check it, shake it before you put it back into the gun. Now we're going to reassemble it, but we're going to lubricate it first. I'm going to show you exactly what I lubricate and how. Remember, this is 100% dry right now, and these are going to be the lubrication points that I use every single time. Starting with the bolt carrier, what I do is on these flats, okay, I run one thin bead of oil down the flat. I don't know if you guys can see that. And then what I want to do is that on both sides. Everything I do, I'm going to mirror it, okay? Now on top of the rail on the bolt carrier group, you're going to see this rail. And some of them look a little differently than others, but I do run another bead on that. I do the same thing on the other side to mirror it. Sometimes you get bleed over, but make sure you get the forward ones. I put a little on the cam pin, just like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a drop or two on the back of the cam pin. I'm going to slide this to the rear, a drop or two on the front of the cam pin. Then I'm going to flip the bolt carrier over. I'm going to get the full length of this rail and here. Now the last thing I'm going to do, guys, this is just like a car. A car has an exhaust, okay? When you're introducing that gas into the carrier key, it goes down here. You have the expansion, and those act like piston rings, okay, like in a cylinder in your car. Those are completely dry. I haven't put any oil on them, no solvent or anything. So these are your exhaust ports, because when it goes to unlock, it vents the extra gas through here. So you've got dual exhaust. So what we're going to do is we're going to put 1 or 2 drops of oil in there. Don't squirt a ton in there, but that's going to lubricate it just enough, okay? This is done. Now, if you have a piston gun or you're seeing any wear on this side of the bolt carrier group, then I will put a little bit in here when it goes into the extension, the receiver extension, that it's not getting unnecessary wear. The problem is it's putting a lot of extra oil if you over oil this into that, and I don't like that in my buffer system. So that's it. You don't touch this anymore. This is completely lubricated, 100%. Charging handle, just a quick wipe down with solvent. I can hit it with brake parts cleaner, then I'm going to show you exactly where we're going to lubricate it. Also, make sure you get up into this front area here, because it does build up a lot of carbon in that area, and that's pretty much it for the charging handle. I'll show you how we lubricate that. Okay, charging handle, it's been dried off. Use brake parts cleaner, use solvent, it's completely clean. I'm going to go the full length of this rail all the way up. You guys might be able to see that, and I'll make a little hook down there at the bottom. I spread it with my finger. I do the exact same thing on the opposite side. Spread it with my finger. And then I'll actually run a thin one with making sure I get a little bit on this edge here on the top, okay? The last thing I do is I take my finger, because it's still wet with oil, and I get it on the bottom. And then guys, this is a good way to pay attention to how much wear you're getting. If you're used to pulling off of one side of your charging handle, you get a lot of excess wear here, so just always make sure that this isn't about to blow through from excessive wear, okay? Some people will put a little drop right here, so it's not putting a lot of wear on this part of your upper receiver, but that's entirely up to you. So bolt carrier group, charging handle, good to go. Okay, gang, so that just took me a couple minutes to do. Now I do want to mention when I used to teach this stuff, the biggest reason that I see ARs don't run is because of lack of lubrication on that bolt carrier group. So what I showed you guys, that is what I do each and every time, but I maintain my gun pretty regularly, or all my rifles, but that is the minimum amount of oil that you need to have this thing function 100%. Most guns don't run when they're under lubricated, so make sure you've got enough lubrication in there. That didn't take long, maybe about 5 minutes, and so this barrel has set for 5 to 10 minutes. Now, I'm not a big fan of Sweet 762. I think it's too aggressive. That's why I used the Vortec. And now that it's sat for 5 minutes, you're going to see a lot of that blue. Now, I'm not going to bore you guys with getting all this blue out, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to find something else to do. I'll clean something else, maybe the upper receiver, while that is still soaking with that Vortex. All right, guys, one other thing I failed to mention is because this is a direct impingement gun, remember your gas tube is up at the top of your vent. Don't ever clean your AR upside down because you're introducing all that solvent, and those bristles could possibly fall into that hole where your vent is, your barrel vent. So always keep it upright. I'm going to insert this into the chamber. Once I get into the chamber, all I'm going to do is I'm going to spin this, and all I did was I took a vice grip, so I have a way of turning it, and basically breaking up everything that's inside of there. That's why I use a cradle. I do this. Once I do that, now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a large patch, just like this. I'm going to wrap it. Now you see why that chamber brush looks the way it did. I wrap it, and then I put solvent on this. This is just the hops. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to press it into that chamber. Once I do that, I give it 4 or 5 turns. And I'm just going to slowly pull it out. And when I do, you'll see all of that residue that's coming out of the chamber itself. It's getting that nice and clean. So now we've cleaned the chamber. All right, gang, so I finished up with the Vortec, got all the blue out of there, and then what I do is I run a dry patch. I never mix solvents by running a wet patch and then another wet patch. I always use dry anytime I switch over from like the Vortec to the hoppies. Once I do that, I finish it up with hoppies again. I just push a wet patch of hoppies through there, then a dry patch. If you're gonna store the rifle for any amount of time, you need to do a wet patch of oil. Any type of oil will work, and then dry patch afterwards. This will help protect and preserve the interior of that barrel. You know, some guys are going to say, well, it's chrome lined. I don't have to worry about that. That's fine. Well, you know, whatever you want to do. But on precision rifles, I always put a little coat of oil on there if I'm not going to shoot it in the next month or so. Otherwise, I just dry it out after the solvent. I'm good to go. So now we need to clean out the upper receiver. Basically, just take a large patch and take that. And all I'm going to do, now this is a suppress gun. I always shoot it suppressed, so I know it's going to be dirty. I basically just insert it here with the fingers. Sometimes I use like a nylon brush, and I make sure that I get everything on the inside, okay? And you're gonna see how filthy that is. You know, if I'm gonna use a brush, what I'm usually gonna do is put the brush in here and then get along that charging handle track and make sure that I get my feed ramps with my fingers, make sure that it's nice and shiny, which this one is now. So we are good to go. I don't put any more oil on it or anything like that. I just make sure that this has all of the carbon removed from it. And that's it for the upper. Now what we're going to do on the lower is we usually want to take a patch and wipe all of this area down. You'll start to get carbon buildup, especially if it's suppressed. I'll wipe the trigger group down, and on the trigger, you guys always use grease. That's what I use. If you don't have grease, you can use oil. It's fine. But on the sear disconnect and on the release, basically I always put a little dab of grease on there. Always check this area or blow it out with some compressed air, because a lot of times, like if you have a blown primer, those primers will start to accumulate in here. I don't have that issue, but I've seen other guys with hand loads have that issue. So just make sure that area is clear, blow it out, give the gun a wipe down, you're done. So guys, this is the minimum required to keep one of these up and running for any amount of time. Or I mean, like I said, some guys might think it's excessive, and some guys might say, well, no, I do a lot more cleaning. I'm just telling you what works, and it's worked for me for years. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something about it. Make sure to inspect all those consumables, like your extractor, like your ejector. Okay, it's very important. Other than that, hope you have a great day. Like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.